Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Isabel Jones, back with the second episode of Refresher, a podcast all about a 20-year-old girl tackling the uni life as someone who has no idea what the fuck she's doing. Yeah, absolutely zero. My first episode, I don't know what I thought of it, to be honest. It was alright. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you're watching this episode, love you lots. Thanks. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Anyway, so this episode is going to be it's a bit of a different one. It might get a bit emotional. I gotta be honest with you. Just a little bit emotional. So I'm going to be talking about the concept of loneliness whilst being in uni away from home, which is a weird one. There's a lot to talk about there because I know everyone experiences it differently, and this is my personal experience, and similar to other experiences I've seen people have. Oh, my throat gurgled. It's fine, it happens. So I don't really know how to start this because it's a bit of a weird topic to talk about. I feel lonely in uni, and I've got people around me, and I've got friends, and there's societies and sports teams that I can join if I want to, but I still feel lonely. Now, I've got my housemate who is my utmost best friend in the whole world, and part of the reason why I haven't dropped out of uni is because of her. I gotta be honest, love her so much, and I've made a friend for life, and you go to uni and you make friends for life. It's such a weird concept because if I never went, I never would have met her. There's literally no way. She's from London, I'm from Cardiff. It would be difficult. And I'm so glad I found her. And I've got other friends that I'm definitely going to stay in contact with for the rest of my life. However, where it goes badly is my social battery. I haven't got a social battery. Well, I have got a social battery, and I'd like to think I'm very outgoing, and I'm a very friendly person to an extent. But my social battery just, in uni, I don't know what it is, it just collapses so quickly, and I just don't have the energy or the motivation to speak with people or hang out with people, and I hate that so much because I know for a fact that I could be so much better off if my social battery was more easily recharged, if that makes any sense. It's so difficult. I have the desire to have all these friends, and I have the desire to be friends with certain people, be parts of certain groups, but I do just fall. I lack the motivation, and I hate it. I can't stand it. It's just having the energy to maintain being a part of something, and I think that's where my feeling of loneliness comes from. I don't know if anyone's seen on TikTok the concept of the Connor Waldron from Normal People University experience. Part of me resonates with that, I've got to be honest, part of me does. I feel like it's so difficult when you go to uni, and I speak about this all the time because it's mind-boggling, especially if you're going away to somewhere far away from home, and more specifically, like myself, if you go to a small university, you are going somewhere where you have no preconceptions of anyone. You can't go and ask your friend and say, oh, so-and-so from this school, what do you think of them? Because everyone knows everyone when you're at home, and you go to uni and you have none of that. There's just no preconceptions, and it's so difficult to make friends and find trust in people. When I was a fresher and I first went to uni, I was so full of the idea that I'm going to speak to everyone, I'm going to invite people out for drinks, I'm going to make as many friends as I can on Snapchat before I go, and I'm going to have all these people that I'll know. And I've got to be honest, all of that fell through. The people I made friends with on Snapchat, we had all these group chats going and we made all these plans in advance. I don't see them. I don't think, like, I'll see them in passing. It'll be like a polite hello and a nod, but we're not exactly friends. Well, obviously that sounds a bit harsh, but I mean in a sense that we wouldn't go out of our way and go for a drink or go for shopping together or go to the pub. It's a really weird concept, and none of those people I spoke with on Snapchat before, I don't see them, and I'm not friends with them. It's blunt, but it's true. And it's so difficult. I made a lot of friends from my flat, and I'm going to do another episode on flatmates and housemates, I think, in the future. So I'm only going to touch lightly on it now. But all of my friendships came from my flat. And oh my gosh, at first it was the most amazing concept. We were all so tight-knit and so friendly. We do these like movie nights in the kitchen where we bring a telly from one of our rooms into the kitchen. We'd all cook dinner together and, well, yeah, we'd watch films. We'd all sit together all cosy with blankets and teddies, and it was like such a nice, it was so innocent and so wholesome, and part of me really misses that. And I think where it went badly, because I'm not friends with all of them, or I'm not as close as I was with all of them, was you get to a point where people like myself start to lose the energy of maintaining something like that, and I got to a point where I needed my alone time. After a few months of being in uni, I needed my alone time, and I needed to be in my room on TikTok, listening to music, staring at a ceiling, and I was just craving that. I was desperate for that, and I couldn't maintain the sort of friendship gatherings, I don't know what to call them, like the hanging out and the doing all these cute wholesome things. As much as I wanted to, I couldn't, and I could feel myself turning really nasty because I just needed my alone time and there was nothing more that I wanted, and trying to keep up with the standards of other people, it's just so draining. And you want to impress people because at the end of the day you've still known them for a number of months, if that, and it just gets so difficult. Now, on my course, we've got a very small course, and I know it varies for people, but we have a very small course, and all of the people are so lovely. They are all so sweet, and I'm very friendly with a lot of them. But again, it's so difficult to maintain that outside of seminars and lectures and practicals, because I have a long day and I'm just so tired. I just want to go home. I want to get into bed. I need my time to decompress. I need to go on TikTok for hours and hours and hours, watch my comfort shows on Netflix, have a nice hot chocolate or something from the comfort of my own home. And another thing that also plays into that is money. And it is so difficult when you're a uni student to want to go out and do all these snazzy cocktail bars, or go out for food in this really nice trendy restaurant, because you can't afford it. It's sort of, do I choose that, or do I fund my food shop for the week, or petrol money, or paying my rent and my bills even? It's so difficult, and I don't really know how to comprehend it. You need to find friendships based on pure intentions, if that makes sense. I don't know. I really have no clue if that makes sense. But I mean a non-materialistic friendship. A friendship that you can just talk and talk and talk, and you don't have to go out and get each other gifts or go to these like food places and get drunk whenever you've seen them. See them. Sorry, my English was really bad there. But it's a weird construct, and it's so difficult. another thing that sort of plays into financial areas and, well, loneliness is university societies and sports teams. I was part of one, an all-girls running society, for I think towards my first year for a good few months, and it was the loveliest thing ever. It was so sweet, and all the girls were so lovely, and it was so wholesome. However, it got to a point where I couldn't maintain the friendships I made when we would go out on the runs, and again, that's my fault with my motivation and my energy to do anything, and my social battery would just drain, and it was so difficult to carry on talking to them outside of these meetups. And then it got to a point where these meetups were just too much effort for me to go to. It just gets to a point where I can't physically participate as much as I want to, and I always got so anxious about, am I saying the right thing? Am I acting friendly? Are people getting the wrong idea of me? Because it all plays into those first impressions you get. Like, again, you have no preconceptions of anybody, which means nobody has any preconceptions of you, especially when you first get into uni, and it's so difficult, and it's just hard. I've got to be honest, it's just hard, and university is lonely. However, I think when you accept that it can be lonely, and you find joy in doing other things, whether that be by yourself or with a very small group of friends, and I'm an avid believer that I would love a small group who I'm extremely close with, can talk about anything to, than a million friends that I can just go to the pub with and have a cheeky bev. It's weird. It is difficult. However, when you find that small circle, or that, even if it's one friend, they will be your friend for life. And I mean, we're talking maid of honour, or best man at a wedding, or you'll never forget them, and they'll never forget you. And I think that is so important, because everyone's in the same boat, whether they like to hide it or not, or whether they show it or not. Everyone has come to uni alone, and everyone is unsure of who to befriend, or who they should talk to, or who they can go to, or who they should hang out with. And it's so difficult because it's so different to school. And I've got to be honest, I don't remember school very well at all. I left in 2020, which is 5 years ago. I was a COVID year, so I didn't even get my full last year of school. But even like in college, I went to college, not sixth form. It's easier there because you have preconceptions of people. Everyone's from the same area. You're bound to know someone who knows that person or a group of people. You're bound to. It's impossible not to. And then you move to the other side of the country and you don't know anyone, and you have no idea about anyone. You don't know who to trust, you don't know who to talk to, you don't know who's done this and what they actually like a few months down the line when true colours show. It's it's such a weird situation to be in, and such a weird concept. Anyway, so I think my advice is to find that group. Go in with no judgment. I think everyone has to do it, and it turns into a life lesson. It does turn into a life lesson. It's messed with my boundaries for trust, going to uni and making friends. It's really like sent my trust on a spiral. Yeah. But everything happens for a reason. I know that's really cheesy, but I'm a firm believer of it. Everything happens for a reason. And the lessons I've learned have been so valuable, because couple of years down the line, who knows where we're all going to be. We might be working in our hometown, we might be working in our university town, or we might be working literally anywhere else. For all we know, we could be working abroad. It's gonna happen, and you're gonna have to find people who get you, and find people who understand you and have the same views and beliefs and behaviours as you, just to have someone there with you, because friendship is so important. It's so fucking important. And I do still catch myself feeling incredibly lonely, because you're away from family, you're away from friends. But I think I've found comfort in my loneliness, and it's fine. It happens. Everyone feels lonely, but I found comfort in myself and sitting in my room and dawdling on with whatever I want to do, watching Netflix and reading or hobbies. It's fine. It's good-ish. It's such a weird concept. I think I'm going to have to do another episode on this, because there is so much to talk about. So much to talk about. But I think that's it for today. So thank you very much if you're listening or watching. And I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope you can relate to it. Or if you're looking at applying for uni, if you found some advice in there, but you know, you take it and it helps you. But thank you so much for watching, for listening, tuning in. And, you know, it always gets better. Like I said, I found comfort in my loneliness, and it's fine. It is what it is. Just accept it and value it, I guess. But yeah, thank you for listening to my second episode of Refresher. Have a lovely day, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.